Hello everyone, welcome to this new entry. This time, I'm gonna move straight on to question 16, because I skipped question 15. Should the government impose occupational safety standards? What if employers refuse to spend money on safety measures and some desperately need poor people would agree to work in dangerous conditions? Should the government prohibit certain contracts that some workers' employers would be willing to make and insist on safe working conditions? I skipped this because I went off the same answer with the question 14. So it's really in the same context as whether about should workers have conditions beyond the free market and that the government gives, and this is a similar context to the minimum wage. So let's move on to question 16 today. Is it just to tax the rich to pay for public services? Should the government tax Bill Gates and other wealthy people and use the money to pay for public schools, hospitals, roads, parks, fire departments, and police departments, or would doing be so unjust? Let's talk about the utilitarian perspective. Utilitarians would say yes. Why? First of all, there's utility from using service. Imagine your house had a fire, but fire departments are not public services, and you gotta call a private department, and that costs you 2 million won. And that makes you really sad. That'll be not utilitarian. It'll also be utilitarian because people can pay some taxes, especially the rich people. They can pay some taxes, 30% of their income, 40% of their spending, a 50% inheritance, whatever the amount is. It doesn't impact their life that much. Yes, they will feel sad a bit because, it was their money, and they might be not able to buy some things that they wanted to, but at the end of the day, they're not put in extreme danger. But it is able to go to big benefits, such as putting out fires on people and catching crimes through police departments. A second type of utility could be avoiding fear. I might have to fear that I get sick and I cannot get treatment because there are no hospitals, but now that there are hospitals, I don't need to feel that fear. Third one, more specifically on the public schools part, cultivating human excellence. If people, all of them, had access to public education and they can create their careers, be a good person, be a skilled person, then they can maybe go get a job in a company and they increase the whole productivity of the economy. Or if they become even smarter, they could grow to become entrepreneurs or a CEO of a startup company and create innovations that benefit the world. So utilitarians would say yes, you can tax them. Then what would a Rausian say? They would also say yes, because remember, Rausian wants a social contract. A hypothetical social contract that people decide when they are in original positions. When there's a veil of ignorance of what their social circumstances are, what their talents are, what their preferences are, and people become impartial when deciding those social contracts. And in these cases, they will root for choices that everybody will benefit. And the way these public goods are designed systematically is to help everyone, even the least advantaged. Anyone can run on the roads with their cars, and they can all benefit from that. Anyone can go to school and get education and make their lives out of that. And because this is the policy, well, tax is super broad to call it a policy, but these policies are all benefiting everybody, Rausian to say yes. Next, let's talk about communitarianism, the one that Alistair McGuintyre proposes and Michael Sandel proposes, communitarianism. They would say yes. And they will say that when these public institutions take place, it is a place where both rich people, poor people, people from diverse backgrounds, they meet with each other. They can communicate about civic virtue, about what's the correct thing to do as a community, what our responsibilities are, and what can we be. And they can increase their sense of solidarity. The fact that we are being in the same community and we're sharing the same services, interacting with each other, that decreases the discrepancy between the two classes, the rich and the poor, the majority and the minority, that has all disappeared. They gather in one place and talk about a certain subject, and they become closer. For example, we see this in society. Denmark, Finland, or Sweden. There are countries at high tax rates. Yeah, that's true, but that doesn't make them sad. You'll find them in the list of the top 10 happiest countries, top 20 happiest countries, and they're always there. Because they collect a lot of taxes, they have lots of government programs, and they have these social programs that are given using government funding. They meet, and they have a sense of solidarity, a sense of community, a sense of belonging with each other. And that's what really is important for communitarians, and that's why they will say yes. So it's not all about the economic argument, it's also an argument about the responsibility for community and happiness earned by it. Next, what would a libertarian say? Libertarian would say no. It's my money. Why should I give it to the government? That's theft. They hate redistribution because if I earn my money in the market, then it should be mine. And that's what a libertarian would say. They will not consider helping others. In fact, that is one of the three principles Robert Nozick presented and what he detests. What would a Lockean say then? Well, Lockeans, John Locke has made a theory on what a government should be. A government can be designed to keep and protect the rights of people, specifically the rights of property, which is the right of life, the right of estate, and the right of liberty. And they should also pursue the common good. Now, when they're doing this, Locke believes that tax can be collected, because then the tax would be used as a tool to achieve those goals. The only thing that Locke does not believe is good is arbitrary taxation. Taxation is only bad when the money is being used for a place that is not benefiting the people. So Lockeans, therefore, pretty much say, yeah, tax is good. We should make essential roads and public schools and hospitals and police and fire departments. I believe that the greatest arguments here are Lockean, Rawlsian, utilitarian. They are able to prove the most kind of obvious theories, but really the ones that hold a lot of sense to me and what it supports. I believe it is essential that we provide services for everybody so that their human rights are kept, their excellence are cultivated, and we get benefits out of them. I don't think this is a question. I don't think this is a hypothetical question to separate people. I don't think anyone goes against rights. I don't think anyone goes against tax unless you're super Nozickian philosopher. It's more about how would people say, and for us to learn about the philosophical studies that exist. And I think those were the approaches that these people would make. Thank you, and see you in the next entry.